Hello, good morning and welcome to the allotment. It's a nice day today, at the moment anyway. There's a nice strong breeze, and after some very hot weather, it's nice to be down the allotment when it's a day when you can actually get some work done. It's really been too hot to work down the allotment for a few weeks now, although we've had a couple of spells where the weather's broke. We've had 3 official heat waves in the last few weeks. So, like I say, I'm down the allotment today, and I'll just run through some of the issues that we've currently got. So I'll turn the camera around and show you. We'll start off in the polytunnel. Okay, so as you can see, this is a cucumber plant. It's been giving us some nice cucumbers. You can see there's another one on there, but now it's yellowing off at the top. So, and I've got the same with 2 more cucumbers. The one on the end isn't too bad. So I'm going to give them a feed today and see if that cures the problem. I'm not quite sure what the cause is. A little spider on there, but so I'm going to give them a feed and try and see if that works it out. Like I say, it might be something to do with the hot weather not taking up some of the feed. So we've got a dull day today, so I'll give them a feed and hopefully that will cure the issue. Need to step over the watering cans which are on the path. The tomatoes, those are okay at the moment. They're up at the top. This little gadget here, that's my thermometer which I monitor the temperatures with, little digital thermometer. Our tomatoes are just starting to ripen. You can see there we've got, that's toddler, they're ripening nicely, and if I come down here, our first larger tomatoes are now starting to ripen. I've got some side shoots to take off the tomatoes. The other thing I've done in the polytunnel is come down here, I planted some beetroot. So there's 3 areas where there's half a dozen beetroot in. There's a couple here, 1 each side, and then if I come back over this side, there's another few there. The last break we had in the hot weather, I actually spent time in the polytunnel, but other than that, it's been just a bit of a race. Do what I need to. So, like I say, with the cucumbers, I'm not quite sure what's causing the problem. This is probably a better example. You can see all the yellow in at the top, but as I come down the plant, you can see I've got cucumbers on there. So, like I say, they'll have a feed today, and we'll see if that improves things. Okay, so if we go outside the polytunnel, show you some of the other issues we've had. In this bed here, we had some cabbages and some kale. So one of my brassica beds, which I do, I like to have mixed things in. So the kale was planted after the cabbage. The cabbage has all been harvested, and now I've planted some Swedes in, but these Swedes have really took the brunt of the hot weather we've had the last few days. So hopefully they'll pick up, but they don't look too good at the moment. I think I showed you that bed being cleared last time. I've got my 2 main onion crop beds to be cleared. They've got some weeds on, but they can be cleared out. I showed you the Calabrese bed, which was being affected by clubroot. We have been picking Calabrese. I'll add a picture to the video so you can see that. And if I come down here, this is the cabbage bed. Things are doing well on the cabbage bed. So we've got red cabbage and a nice green cabbage for later in the year. Those are doing well. The red cabbage are nice, starting to heart up now. This bed here is another one that's been cleared. This had the cauliflowers, Tirza, Tirza. Those were good cauliflowers. I will put a picture up because I was doing a comparison between those and Boris cauliflowers, and what I did notice is although they both produce very good cauliflowers, the Boris cauliflowers stood in the ground a lot longer. Okay, if we get into the small polytunnel, you can see here we've got two sets of three tomato plants. So we've got Alicante on this side. These are just starting to turn. And then we've got Stoner on this side. These tomato plants are really at their maximum height. They'll be chopped out the tops in the next few days, and I'll probably keep them at 3 trusses of tomatoes. That's all we need because we've got the other tomatoes in the big polytunnel. Okay, we'll get back to the outside then and what we're doing. So these are these are the climbing French beans. You can see we've got a purple variety. Those are starting to crop now, and got some lovely gladioli. Here I have to sort that when I've got both hands. So we've got a blackcurrant bush under there, but it's been taken over by the pumpkin. This is the sweet corn bed, so lots of nice sweet corn forming. And we've got some lovely sunflowers. So we do like to grow sunflowers, and my wife does pick the occasional sunflower head and use in flower arrangements. Another nice sunflower is this one here. So I think this is called Teddy Bear, but I'll have to double check that. I'll put the name on. Okay, let's look at a few more disasters. Well, not quite a disaster, but our raspberry canes, we're not going to get anything off this year, but hopefully they're bedded in ready for next year and we should get a nice crop on those. Our sweet peas, I've pretty much gone over. I'm going to leave those and try and harvest some of my own seeds going forward. Our runner beans, we are already picking these. One of my jobs today, this was the tomato, this was the potato bed, which was swift. So I'm going to lift those today. And we've got the other earlies. And then we come down to the Picasso, which are growing in straw. And those are doing quite well. Or the tops are doing well. What's underneath, we'll have to see, particularly after the poor weather we've had. If we have a little look into the sprouts, they need a weed, but the sprout plants themselves aren't doing too badly. We've got our lovely courgettes, which have been cropping like crazy. Like I say, I will share some images, some still images of some of the crops that we've taken off. Again, some of my wife's flowers, which we've been using for flower arrangements. You can see those, a nice mix of flowers and colours. and a nice little hidden crop down here. So we do need to do some weeding, but we've got some dwarf French beans which have been cropping, and these started to crop before the climbing French beans, so we've had French beans for a while. We've got some more cabbage here. My parsnips are coming on all right, and the leek bed, and this will probably give you a good indication of how hot it's been. Normally weeding this leek bed would have been fine, I'd have done that within an hour, but I came down when it was one of the hot days and actually gave up, and I haven't managed to get back to it since to weed out the leeks, but the leeks are generally looking nice and strong. Okay, so that's a nice little tour of the allotment. I haven't got much of interest to carry out today. Like I say, I'm going to harvest the potatoes, and I'll probably harvest some of the onions, and give the cucumbers a feed, see if they'll pick up. Like I say, I'm not quite sure what the problem is with the cucumbers, but the only thing I've got left to try is a feed, so we'll see if that works. Okay, so I managed to do a little bit of work outside. I'm not sure if you can hear, the microphone's picking it up, but it's actually raining now. So I did manage to lift the Swift potatoes. They were disappointing, to say the least, and I will try and put a picture of those on the video so you can see how disappointing they were. We're expecting a poor crop from those because the plants never really took off. The tops were always quite weak, but we've got quite a few other lots of potatoes, so hopefully they won't be too bad. I've also managed to lift the onions, the red onions at least, and I'll turn the camera around and show you those. So that's our red onion crop, which will be fine. We do use red onions quite a bit, so hopefully there'll be enough there to keep us going. Like I say, we've got some white onions. We had a good crop of winter onions from the polytunnel, so overall I think we should have enough onions to keep us going right through to next year. Okay then, so not quite the video I was intending to do. I was hoping to show you harvesting a lot more, but like I say, it is raining, so I've tried to work between the showers, get as much in as I can without videoing it. Obviously you can work a lot quicker without the video, so hopefully I'll see you again soon when the weather's more conducive to doing some video work. See you soon. Bye.